Get down the sounds right here. Go Live Vegas Studios in the heart of Las Vegas. This is Full Tilt Vegas. Okay, let's get started here. You can get my book on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. Blackjack, Craps, and Roulette. Teaches you all ins and outs and the ratios, percentages. I break all the games down so you fully understand that why the casino has an edge on you. All the games, whatever you play, certain bets you make have different percentages. And also you can get the cups. We have cups here if you want to put coffee, hot chocolate, rum in it. Or you can get the posters. We don't have the dark on this time, huh? Anyway, yeah, my book teaches you all that about craps, blackjack, and roulette, card counting for blackjack, dice. In my book, I do have sections on dice setting. For some reason, I've seen more people want to learn about dice setting. What I want to let you know up front about dice setting, it does work. I've tried it. I practice it. But I've been to certain casinos where if I'm hitting numbers, I don't do it all the time, but it does work. Just don't announce it. Like, I'm going to throw a hard four, watch this. Hey, watch this. Don't be doing that. Because as soon as the boxman and the floor catches you, they're going to tell you, sir, just when you get the dice, just toss them. Don't be doing that no more. We don't do dice setting here. So all those books, all those video you downloaded, or whoever's trying to teach you about dice setting and tell you the wonderful world of dice setting and how much money they made, a lot of the casinos won't let you do that in some casinos. So all that time you spent and money on videos and all that, they throw that right out the window. I'm just letting you know. You can do it. You can go ahead. Just don't consistently keep trying to throw certain numbers and don't be announcing it. But if for some reason dice setting, I don't know if it's coming back, it's getting more popular, but you got to practice for 6 months. So don't go in your garage and practice for 3 days and run to the casino. It's not going to work. You got to get the mechanics. You can go on some of my shows. I tell you on craps, dice setting, how to hold them, throw them, the mechanics of it, use physics, and where you throw them, 6 inches from the back, they hit, they come back, and what side of the table you practice on, and make sure the table is the size of the table you're practicing on, because it's a huge difference, because they'll throw it off. It's a 10-inch table, a 10-foot table, 12-foot, 14, and some are 16-foot tables, which are, a lot of them are crap assless tables. But anyway, and then also on blackjack is card counting, which I know a lot of people are interested in. I do go over that, card counting. Roulette, I show you how to make money on roulette. You can make money, but you got to walk away. That's the whole key. Nobody wants to walk away. You put the ratios and percentage in your favor, and you just walk away. Depends how much money you want to win. I mean, you're not going to win a boatload. I mean, you could win some pretty good money if you're betting big, but you got to at a certain point, you got to quit. But the way I show you, the first, second, third 12s are the columns, and that's it, nothing else. You can probably sit there and get a little win streak and make some pretty good money, because I've already done it. I don't really care for roulette. Craps is my favorite game. The second one is probably horse racing, and then blackjack. Now, my horse racing, you can go on Delatory 360 Entertainment, and you can see all my videos, 7 through 10, and it teaches you how to bet on horses, why horses, where they run, what the jockeys are doing, trainers, breeding. Also tells you about the surfaces, the dirt versus turf, and then you got biases, inside-outside bias. You might have a rail bias. You could have a front-running bias, which is either front speed running and holding, or you could have a come from behind bias, which is the track is heavy and the horses are getting tired and the ones come off the pace and they beat them. It goes through all tells you everything you can possibly know about horse racing. Now, there's a few things that I probably could have still put in there I thought about them after, but it was like about a month, 2 months after. But they're little minor things. But most of the stuff, packing everything in there, believe me, when you go from 7 to 10, and when you're done listening to all 4 hours, you can go over if you want certain sections to learn about horses. And one thing I'm really proud of, I'm in a club. It's called Tis Now. Yep, Tis Now Club. And they actually let me keep my advertisement on there because it's got something to do with horse racing. Now, they do check anything you talk about, whatever you talk about on all these. They got the Hulk fans, they got the $6 million fans, and different clubs. And the one, I'm on a couple of those, and then you got the horse racing, the Tis Now. God, I hope that I said that right. But I think they went over it. They did probably go over it. There's a little, I don't know, I guess they got their little committee there, and they go over it and see what you're doing, because that's a huge club. It's about thoroughbred horse racing, and they actually left it there. They left my 7 through 10 Go Live Vegas studios in Nighttown where you can go, and Delatory 360 Entertainment. They actually left it there, and I saw sometimes I get something pops up, and it says Tis Now, and it'll show my horse racing. It says Full Tilt Vegas. I go, wow. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna have to check this too and make sure that it's. Hold on, let me see. Tis a law. Anyway, I'm gonna have to make sure. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I just haven't. I saw it a couple of days ago, but I've been so busy that I haven't been paying attention to hardly anything really on my phone besides my advertisement. Okay. Yeah, so if you want to see anything on poker, slot machines and stuff like that, all the other things that are not in this book, you can go to Delatory 360 Entertainment, and you can go through all the videos. They're all titled, so you can see what they're on. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna try to see if I can get somebody. Maybe I can get a tech. I don't know. Maybe they can't come on because they have to be independent because MGM Corporation and Hair Ass Corporation, they're not going to probably let them come on the show. So I have to maybe find somebody that's retired. Anybody that's retired, slot machine tech, you can give Aaron a call here. There's the number, Aaron. I can't remember myself. Could you put? Oh, there it is up. It's up there on the top. Yeah, 855-502-4321. Because I would love to have a tech on the show, because I know a lot of people are interested in how slot machines work. I do tell you in a couple of my episodes how they work, and that's how they work. You don't bang on the glass and it comes up. Sometimes people do it just by that accident. It just came up at that time. But they're run by random generators that has a motherboard with a chip. That chip is the same chip as a gaming control board, so it has to be coincide. And the other thing, it runs 1,000 series per second. So like I said, if you're pulling and pulling and pulling or hitting, and once you stop to smoke a cigarette, the jackpot probably went right by you. You got to keep consistently playing. It's just, if you're going to hit it, you're going to hit it. It's just the way it is. Like I said, you could be talking to you and 2 people, 3, 4 people in the middle of the machines. You got 10 here, 10 here. You're in the middle. You're all talking. Nobody's playing those machines. Those machines don't start when you put a quarter or whatever in there. They're going 24/7, and that sequence is probably hitting jackpots on some of these machines. You don't even know it because you weren't playing it at that time. It's just constantly going. It's just, if you sat down and you played at that time, that 1,000 series, whatever that series where it hits those certain jackpots, small ones, big ones, large ones, they're hitting all the time, but you don't know because you're not sitting down and playing it. That's how they work. You can go to AmericanGaming.com and go and look at the section on how slot machines work. They'll tell you the whole thing, the same thing I'm telling you. I know on how slot machines work for probably 20 years. That's 75 to 80% of the casino's revenue. Why do you think you see so many slot machines? Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go and show you something because I was playing at a casino. I'm not going to say what casino that I was at, but I was playing. and there was a couple of people we were making a few bucks, but all of a sudden we start losing when the come out, or we were losing. We get a number or two and we lose. And there was a guy playing the don't, which the don't is a don't pass, and the other one that's called a wrong better. Casinos love that name, wrong better, because they don't want you playing that. Because if a table is really cold, you should be playing that. Because the bottom line is you're playing craps. That's what you're doing. It has nothing to do with somebody saying, "Oh, he's playing against you." He's not playing against you. This game is set up for the casino to win. All games are, but there's certain bets on a crap table that you actually have really good chances of making some money. But how they're able to give true odds, which is the pass line, the odds in the back. The reason why they're able to give you true odds, which they have no advantage on the payout. Now, a lot of dealers say this. The casino has no advantage on this bet. Yes, they do. And I'm going to tell you why. It's real simple. They don't finish telling you, or they probably don't know. The pass line, when you make that bet, it's 1.41%. That's how low the percentage is for the casino make money on that bet. So it's a good bet. But once you get a point, that 1.1% stays. But the further out on the board odds, Aaron, the board odds, the further out, nope, still not it. Yeah. The further out on the board odds, which is 4 through 10, they're harder to come up, but they pay more. And 5 and 9, then the 6 and 8. But whatever point you get, and you take odds, it's harder to come up. Yes, they're going to pay you true odds, but what a lot of dealers don't tell you, the casino has no advantage on that bet. They should explain it correctly. The casino has no advantage on the payout, not the bet itself. Because if you have a $5 bet here, and say the point is 10, and you take $5 in the back, you win. If 10 comes up, you win 5, and you win 10 back here. The casino is giving you 10 for 1, so it's 2-to-1 payout. They don't have an advantage on it. Where the advantage is for you to even hit it. For you to hit it first. I don't care if it pays $1,000. You got to hit that bet first. And this bet here, by taking odds, this drops this down to 1.41%. Drops down to 0.184%. That's what it drops out. But it has nothing to do with you hitting it. The ratio is 6 for the casino for them to win, and only 3 for you to win it. That's the advantage. 6 for the casino, 6 ways for them to win this bet, and only 3 for you on a 4 and 10. That's their advantage. You have to hit it first. So by letting people play odds, the casino wouldn't stay in business if they just had these 2 bets. That's why they have all these crazy bets, like the proposition bets, and they got the hopping bets. The fill bet, I showed on a show how to use that for hedge betting. And all these other crazy bets like Buffalo bet and what's the other one they yell out, which I think is stupid. And then you got, I show you on my shows on craps. Come bet is probably the worst bet on this table, besides trying to throw a 12 and aces, because those percentages are really low to actually hit it. Aaron, the board, the 6 and 8. The ace. I'm using the aces in 12. Which is they're people go snake eyes. They're not saying they're called aces. That's what they are, aces. This is ace deuce. So these two here, 12 and aces, that's a real high percentage to hit those. That's 13.89% on a 2 table. But if this was a 4 table, it's for the bet, not to the bet, because the dollar stays up. If you're betting 1 bet, it goes all the way to 16.67%. So that tells you how high the percentages for the casino. That's $16 for them in the long run for them to make that, because for you to throw this, the aces and 12 is 2.78%. That means on a set of dice, the highest percentage is 16.67%, and the lowest percentage is 2.78%. So that's how hard it is to hit these bets. And I do show you how to make these bets by constantly betting these bets. If you bet $1, I use a 12 a lot because I see people bet 12 before the aces, but they come up the same pay this time. It doesn't matter. But people usually, for some reason, use a 12 a lot. Same thing with 11 and ace deuce. They always bet yo 11, but the ace deuce is the same exact percentage and ratio. Exactly. But a lot of people pick the 11 and a lot of them pick the 12. Well, if you bet $1 here, and this is a 2 table, and if you was to lose 30 times, the 31st time that you keep betting this consistently, don't wait, I'll wait 2 rolls. No, you got to keep betting it. If you hit it within 30 times and then take down your $1, you actually broke out even. It's because you got your 30 losses. So when you make your 31st loss, your 31st bet, and you win, you take your $1 down, and then you get your $30 back, and you got your original $1. So you didn't make nothing, but you got 30 chances to hit this within 30 chances. So if you hit it the first time or the second or third time, then that's how much money you win. So 3 times would be $27. You're up because you have to minus $3. So and on a 4 table, it's the worst. It's you'll always be behind $1 unless you beat it within, I think it's 29 times, and then take down your $1, and then you'll break out even. But you have to hit it within first time you play it till the 29th or 30th time, but you have to take your $1 down or win it before that happens. And that's the only way you can beat that. I use this a hedge bet. I do show you in other bets, but what was I? See, I get a little off because I get excited because I start going into different things, different ways to bet on a crap table, ways to hedge bet against it and use money management. But what I was going to say, what happened? I was playing craps, and everybody that was betting pass line, which is called a right better. And then one guy was playing pretty good money. He's playing black. He's playing $100 chips black. And he was noticing when everybody was losing, when they 7 out, the dealer was shoving me chips. And he kept, why is he giving this guy chips? Or on the come out, when everybody's pass line would lose, they were paying the don't on 2-3. Hey, here is casino. What do you say? What's my favorite casino?
No, is that a casino? He's asking if you're.
Oh, if this is a casino? Is this your first time? No, this is Go Live Vegas Studios in Las Vegas. This is my show called Full Tilt Vegas, and that's my book. So, but I teach you all that. No, it's not, but it's great you came on, and you can go to Facebook and download the Go Live Vegas Studio app, and you'll see all the shows we do here on this platform. And we have a new thing now, behind the scenes, and you can go behind the scenes and see what's going on. Just in case somebody's picking their nose, you can see that. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. He started that. Aaron is a technical director here. He also owns a studio. So if anybody wants a commercial or a show, want to do something, contact him on that number. And you want to do something, a video, whatever, he can do. He's an editor too. He does editing, graphics. He does everything. He did my trailer, my movie trailer. But anyway, like I said, well, I guess I can keep going because Brett's not here. He's not out there, is he?
Nope.
So,
Sorry.
yeah.
Where's my laugh track?
Hey, you're the technical director. So they were so he was noticing that guy who was playing the don't was playing black. He was noticing that when we're all looking for a point, whatever the point, the come out point, or we're looking for a 7-11. He's looking for 2 or 3. A 12 is a push on the don't pass. He noticed everybody was losing. And they were giving me, the dealer was giving me more chips or more money on the pass line than I was betting. He says, "Now, how are you getting paid and he kept watching me. He just didn't fully understand it. So he didn't know anything about hedge betting. So I said, I talked to him after, and he just blew his mind. And I don't know, maybe he's watching today because I gave him my card and told him to watch the show because I want to be talking about it. I'm not going to give his name. And but what was happening is he asked me, well, I could see what you're doing. You're hedge betting. Like if you bet $1, now I know I went through this a lot on a lot of my videos, which you can go and look on my hedge betting on craps. I think, what was it, the recap show? On the recap show, I show you a lot of that stuff on the recap show. But anyway, so let me, back to the board, yeah. So, and sorry for my board, because I didn't want to move the computers underneath. So for $1, for $5 in the pass line, you bet $1 on any craps. Don't bet C. They got C and E here. C and E is craps and 11. C is for craps, or people call crap check. Don't play that, because if you're on a 4 format, if you throw $1 up there, it pays $7, but it's a 4 format, so it's going to pay you $6 because it's for the bet, not to the bet. So always put it on any craps. So when he noticed, but I wasn't betting $5. I was betting 10. Sometimes I bet 15. I was betting 20 by the time I start bumping it up. But then, so he was noticing I was giving the stick man $2, and then I would lose this bet, the $10, and then the dealer would turn around and give me 14, and I would replace the $10 and put this back on my stack and make a $4 profit. He said, "What the hell? What do you? How can you do this?" What does that say? I don't want to be reading these. I want to keep going because if Brett shows up, I got to get off this. Go ahead, people. No, they can read it. The people are watching. Okay, so what happened is, but thanks, guys. You can go ahead and make your suggestions or whatever. If it's real quick, I'll look at it real fast. But I got to hurry up because I'm hoping, well, Brett's supposed to be here. I hope he's here because he's supposed to be talking about all the basketball and baseball. So anyway, he was noticing that, and then when I was even hedge betting, another way of hedge betting is I was putting $34 on the dome. The reason why I'm putting 34 is because if it's a push, I'll make 34, and so I'll break out even. So if I put 35, I'll make $1. But if I don't, I'll lose $1. I don't want to do that because I try to get a hedge bet as close as I can. What I mean by 34 is I'll put 34 here. I'll put on the come on. It's up to me. I put $10 here, because on 2 and 3, I'm going to win this bet. I'll win $34. If it's 12, it'll be a push. But if I put $10 here and I lose this, I'm going to win 40 here, and this bet stays up. So you can go to some of my crap videos on hedge betting and money management, and I'll show you this on the pass line and the dome. What do you say? Lost at the casino, seriously? Yeah. Well, if you go ahead and get my book and read through it, I'll show you how to hedge bet and use money management. And what I'm showing you right here, you can actually go do this on a crap table. I was doing this on a crap table years ago at the Hilton, and I was at a tournament, and they saw me doing this. And some of the guys in the tournament came up to me after, says, "Can you do that? Can you bet the pass line and lay 4 and 10?" I says, "Yes." I said, "They're just bets you make. You gotta read the tournament you're in, because I will tell you why." And then they saw me doing this, what I'm showing you now, and then I would lose my put bet or line bet here, and I would lose these, but they would pay me here. And the next year I went back to that tournament because I got invited again. And I read the rules. They took that out. They said you're either bet a pass line or a don't pass. You got to do either one. And I go, that's stupid. I'm playing craps. They're taking the whole idea of you playing craps. They're taking it away. In other words, they're taking advantage from you. That's what they're doing. Now they did it for the tournament, I think, because people were complaining because they're. I'm just gonna say it. They're ignorant. Remember that movie, Eddie Murphy? You ignorant? They don't want to study. They don't want to study. They don't want to look into the
Stupid is, stupid does, sir.
right. Look what you're playing. You're playing a game that's in the casino's favor. You're supposed to cut down the house edge. That's what I teach in my book, and I teach on these shows how to cut down the casino's edge by hedge betting. Money management is huge. You should know how to do that, and how to press pull. I talk about that in the crap section on craps. And you'll find out when I'm showing you these certain things, believe me, you probably won't go to the ATM as much as you used to. I'm not going to say you're not, because I don't know how you bet. Because a lot of people, even though they do, I know a few people follow what I do, because I have taught some people this, they still come up with their bad habits, especially when they get drunk. They go, screw it, let me slap a bunch of checks on the field. But and I'll show you how to make money off the field too. You can go to what was it? The recap. The recap on YouTube. I don't know what episode it is, but it's called Recap, and you'll see where I show how to make money on the field. There's other ones I do show you, but I know that one's in there. But anyway, so let me show you, because I know people are going to ask me, why are you putting $34 here, and I'm not really a wrong better or a don't pass. Is because I want to bet the pass line, but I'm going to hedge against my bets. So I wait. Say I do hit the 7, which is a dominant number, 16.67%, and it will come up. I want to drive to Vegas. Right now? Well, you know what? That's the thing. That's why Vegas. Come on down. That's what I say. But that's why people get all excited about. I'm in Vegas. Yeah, they see the glitz and glam, all the lights, all the places you can go to parties, strip joints, or whatever, and they lose their mind. And for women, you're the Down Under show, so I won't leave you out. So you see all this, and all your wits just run out, and you just start betting like crazy. What lost an AirPod? In Vegas.
Lost my AirPods in Vegas.
Oh, anyway, well, a lot of people lost more than that, trust me. A lot more. I can tell you stories you won't believe the stories I can tell you about Vegas. I lived here for 5 years. I moved back to California and I came back. But during that time when I was here, I was playing a lot of craps. I played so much craps it wasn't funny, because I loved the game. I loved the action. I got to know a lot of the dealers, the floor people, the managers. I got a lot of stuff free. I never paid for a room. I get everything free. I used to eat free. I used to go to shows free. I saw Barry Manilow. I was 6 rows back. I got to see him for free because I knew people here. I got to see the Elvis Presley impression show. That was fantastic. I got to go always in the, they don't have it now, Maddie. I don't know where Maddie's at. She was the manager there, and I used to get in, see Louie. That guy was so popular with the girls. Louie, and I used to get in that show all the time free. But because I knew everybody. They knew who I was. At the Rio, the Stardust was my home. I had a tier when they imploded it. A lot of the dealers I see here and there. Boxman, I see them different places I go. But anyway, so, see, I'm getting off. I can tell you stories and about, I feel bad for you guys. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote this book. Exactly that reason, because of the losses or the poor money management or hedge betting or not knowing how to make these bets or what are good and bad bets. That's why it's 2 reasons why I wrote this book. I wrote it for, first, to get the information out of my head so my son and daughter can have it in their retired years, because my daughter does play craps. Aviana, little troublemaker. Anyway, she's going, She was on episode 23. You'll see her and her friend on episode 23, Girls Night Out. And Charisse, if you're listening, you got to come on this show, baby. So the other reason why I wrote it is because people, when I was dealing here at the MGM Corporation, I saw all these people losing money, and I wanted to tell them, no, don't do that. I was like, don't, but I couldn't. You can't do that, because I can get fired. Actually, I could be arrested, because they think I'm working with an agent, and that's what it's called, working with an agent. My friends in Vegas, I guess, I'll stay at home. I'll stay at home. Just don't. You can also download my book. If you want to start reading this stuff now, you can download the book and you get it instantaneously. It's $9.99 on the your phone, so you can do that. But It's in the book Winning Ways. And remember, I said it's in the book Winning Ways because a lot of people download Winning Ways. That's not my book. That's a mathematical probability books. Mine is called It's in the Book Winning Ways. So that's what you want to go. You can see the book what it looks like anyway, so you know it's my book. Anyway, so let me get back to this. So say I did hit this 7 when there's no point. So you went on the pass line. I would lose here, but they would pay me for my $10 on any 7 or Big Red. It's called Big Red. I would win 40, and the bet stays up. So I make because it's 4-2-1. So I get 20 and 20 is 40, and the bet stays up because it's to the bet, not for the bet. So this stays up. They give me $40. So that's 34, 35. 40. So I would keep $6 and I put my $34 back up. I was hedge betting, but I would lose the 5. So I would make $1. I put my $5 back. If it's a $5 game, so I make $1 on this bet. But that's why I'll show you why I'm betting 34. But say we get past that. So say a point comes up. Let's just say, oh, I would love 4 and 10 to come up. Dang, I didn't bring my marker. So let's just say, let's see, board, Aaron. Say the 4 comes up. I'm going to use this because I didn't think I was going to use this. Say the 4 comes up, and this looks dumb. Say the 4 comes up, and that means that I like that because if I'm only betting $5 here, and I can put 5 in the back, I'm only risking $5 here. I don't have to make this bet right now. You probably should, but you have options of not taking this bet. So what you do, since I got 5 here and 5 here, I'm going to leave this 10. I'm going to show you why. Because the next 2 numbers you're going to bet, you definitely take 6 and 8. Always 6 and 8, no matter what. No matter what. So you can see what these bets are. You got 10, 20, 30, 4. There's $34. You got your odds. Now you don't have to do this because you're probably hoping for a 10, but you're not going to make that much money. So just leave it. Okay. Now say 7 comes out right off the bat. 7 comes out. You didn't make no money, but guess what? You get back $34. This 10, and that 10, and that's $4 is this here. So they're not going to do this though. They take it down. And then they give you back, they'll pay you $34. And that's this here. So you hedge bet, you didn't win nothing, you didn't lose nothing. But what you want to do is after you do that, try to hit some points. And these are the 2 bets, 6 and 8. Hit a 6. Great, I got 6. So it takes 14 off this. And then you say you hit an 8, takes 28 off this. What that means, if 7 comes out right now, you're going to lose 34, but you're going to win 28 because you already won this money. You won $28 plus you get your $34 back. You're hedge betting off your losses. And that guy was watching me. He was saying, "Oh, why is he playing this and he's playing this?" And I was hitting a 6. Then I said, "Come on, 6 and 8, 6 and 8." You can take more numbers. I wouldn't do it in the beginning because you're trying to get as much money as you can before 7 comes. So. I was hitting 6, good, 8, 6, 5 would come up, no money, 9, 6 again, 8. I was making money, and then all of a sudden 7 came out. They took my losses. The guy paid me 34 here, and this guy got paid here. But he says, "Well, shit, you making more money than me if we were betting the same." He said, if you were playing what I was playing black, you'd be making more money than me, and I'm playing the don't. I says, "I understand it. You can hedge bet too." So he wanted to know. So I'm going to show you. So he goes, "So let's take this off." And I'm saying, "Okay, you're betting." He was betting hundreds. So he bet 100. And I told him, now, if you're going to bet $100, and the way to hedge bet against that, 7's the most powerful number, 16.67%. He said he's so afraid of 7 coming out. He worries so much. He don't care about the point. He's so worried about 7. He says a lot of times the 7 comes out like 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row, or whatever, and then they hit their point, and he has to keep going. And I tell him, "Well, you can hedge against these bets, and I'm going to show you why." Okay, what you do, the numbers that you're going to lose on, which on the come out, which would be a 7 and 11. So I says, what you do, if you want, you can take $25 and put it on Big Red. Now that seems like a lot of money, but if you're betting black, it's a bet you want to make. You want to make this bet. So if 7 comes out, he loses the don't, but he gets $100 here because it pays 4 to 1. So you get 4 $25 chips. So if you get 4 $25 chips, that's your $100 you just lost. And the guy was just blown away. He goes, holy shit. He says, I could have done this all this time. Give a clap. I could have done this all this time. Brett's here. Thank you very much. He's waving. Hey, we got our behind-the-scenes camera now. Can you see him? So anyway, so I thought, okay, that's 7. Okay, now if he's worried about 11 coming up, I got to get off here pretty quick. You're going to be ready, right? Okay, so what I told him, I says, he's worried about 11. What's the same thing for a pass line better? I bet 2, 3, 12. You're going to bet 7, 11. So there's the 7 right there. And then now on 11, since 11 pays $15 and not, well, it's still 4 to 1. So this here, I told him you have to bet. I think what I tell him, I usually don't play this on hedge betting on the don't, but it's $15. So you got 50, 50, that's 30, 60. So that's get more chips here. You got now. Remember this: hedge betting doesn't mean to get your exact same money. It's just cutting down your losses. So you can bet 25. If you bet 25, it's 15 to 1. Now this would be. Excuse me. I'm thinking of dollars. So if you bet $5 here on this, it would pay 70 on a 4 table. If it's a 2 table, it pays 75. So he's risking 25 on the 7 and only 5 on. He's betting. He's investing another $30. But he puts. If it's a 2 table, he's going to win 75 here. But he's going to lose a 25. So he's going to lose 25 off this 100. So, but he still gets his $100. I mean 75 of this. So I told him, what you want to do? You want to bet $10. So you win $10. This pays. This will pay you $150. So you get paid $150. So you'll get your 100 back here. If you lose this, you get that back. Plus you'll make the 25 here and 25. Actually, you make 25 here, and this bet would stay up. So that's how he would hedge bet. And he was just totally blown away because he said all those times, I wish I would have known this, that he could have hedged bets and cut down his losses. So I went over some more stuff with him, and he was just so blown away about craps and how you can bet, be a right better and using don't pass as a wrong better to hedge against your bets. And I go on that and talk about that on a lot of my craps. You'll see hedge betting, buys versus lays and all that. You'll see all that stuff. Okay, I'm going to be getting out of here because Brett's going to be coming on. He's going to give you the sports analysis. And then I'll come on at probably the last 5 minutes of the show, and we'll tell you what's going to be going on. So let's go ahead and do our commercial, and we'll be right back.
What's going on, everybody? Brett Lawson here, co-host of Full Tilt Vegas and local sports analyst. Just a quick heads up, moving forward, I will be a regular part of the show where my segment, the back end of the show, will focus on everything in the world of sports gambling. You will still have Richard's insights and expertise and everything from his book, Winning Ways, in the first part of the show where he will dabble with table games and overall floor-related gambling, where my part of the show will focus on analyzing matchups, odds, totals, money lines, spreads, props, overall gambling, psychology, and philosophy, and just the things you need to know if you want to become a sports bettor or if you already are a sports bettor and want to sharpen your skills in that racket. So stick around. Moving forward, you will have both ends of the spectrum in the world of gambling with Richard and myself moving forward on Full Tilt Vegas. All right, we are back, and I am as well. Long way to return to the studio. Was happy to join Richard last week on the phone, give him a few NBA plays in what is now a concluded round, a first round of the NBA postseason. We are officially now just about underway into round 2. Not technically yet. We're in that break as there is no NBA action here today. Hasn't been any games all day long. Won't be any games for the rest of the night. But what a perfect opportunity now to transition into the second round of the NBA postseason right here on Full Tilt. So be sure to check us out on all of our platforms here on Go Live Vegas, and of course the Go Live Vegas app. Catch us on Alexa. All of our audio and visual platforms are full go. And of course, thank you for Richard for leading the way, as he always does in brilliant fashion here on Full Tilt. Sorry, Full Tilt with a lot of takes get a double take there. A lot of takes though for tonight, because again, a lot of action in the next 2 days in the NBA. And an eventful weekend right here in our own hometown of Las Vegas, Nevada, as the NFL draft has, let's just say, created quite the buzz. And I'm not just talking about the traffic in terms of by the strip. I'm talking about what we're going to start to see on these future boards. Already some updated prices. But we'll get to that towards the end of the show when Richard joins me back up here to wrap things up here on Full Tilt. But if we're going to dive right in, like I said, the best way to do it is on the NBA, and looking at that first matchup tomorrow going down at 10 a.m. Eastern Conference semifinals. Milwaukee heading to Boston to take on the Celtics in the Garden. The Celtics are laying 4.5 in that one, and Boston is currently a minus 200 favorite on the money line. The up and down in that game, 217. Before I dive in a little further into this game alone, some tricky totals, as I'll touch on here in a moment. So 217, right off the bat, that's a high total. You have two high-powered offenses. However, one is a little bit more limited. Now, Boston is fresh off of that big-time sweep over Brooklyn. Boston proved to be the better team, but the fact they were able to sweep a healthy Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I think is going to do a lot for their momentum, but not so much in terms of the fact that I think that's going to carry over to where they will dominate Milwaukee automatically. So I think we'll see a sharp version of Boston, very much similar to what we saw really just start down the stretch of the regular season and in the first round of the playoffs against Brooklyn. They proved to be the superior team, the way they're built structurally, the way they play defense. Jason Tatum is an absolute star. We've known that much already, but he has only solidified it more. I think Boston has all the workings to go on a run here in the East, but rest assured, Milwaukee brings a much more formidable test to the table. The reigning Eastern Conference champions, the reigning champions of the world. This team still has what it takes, I think, to get back to in order to try to make a run for a back-to-back. Now, again, Chris Middleton, the injury that we saw in the first round, he got hurt early. It was then revealed he was going to miss the entirety of that series, and it did hurt Boston a little, or Milwaukee a little bit. We saw Milwaukee tested against Chicago, but when I joined Richard last week on the phone right here on Full Tilt, I gave a pick with Milwaukee on the money line. I like the Bulls on the other side as a hedging opportunity. Only one of those hit, as Milwaukee did win as I projected them to, but the Bulls did not cover, and it was really that game alone. Sometimes in this racket, when you take a loss, there's a lesson attached to it. There's a lesson that accompanies it, a moral of the story, if you will, and that's what I realized. I realized last Saturday, I believe it was Saturday night, because I made that play here on the show. It may have been a Sunday game. My memory's blurring together. Either way, it was last weekend when the Bulls played the Bucks, and the Bucks just completely wiped the floor with them. The Bulls showed that they just did not have the firepower to keep up with Milwaukee, even minus Chris Middleton. Is Giannis Antetokounmpo the same player without him? No, he's not, but he is still a damn dominant player without him, and he is still, at least in my opinion, the best two-way player in basketball right now, and establishing himself as the face of the league moving forward, especially given what just happened with Kevin Durant and the fact Joel Embiid is now hurt for Philadelphia, which very much is going to make their road to the East, through the East, that much trickier. But more on that in a second. Focusing on Milwaukee, I still think they're equipped to be able to get through Boston here. Do I think they will? I'm not going to jump on that just yet. I need to look at the series price, how it fluctuates throughout these next couple of games. I really want to see what these two teams look like tomorrow morning before I really gauge how the series is going to go as a whole. Again, I like the top-heavy aspects of Milwaukee's roster better, but with an injured Middleton and the fact that when you look at them on an all-around basis, Boston probably is the right side here. It's just a little tricky to play a side at this point in time when the first game hasn't even tipped off. But when that first game tips off tomorrow morning, I like a hedging situation. Richard was just talking about it as I made my way in, talking about those key numbers and how you could hedge on the odds with them, whether you're playing the calculated odds, true odds. Everyone has their own formula. Hedging opportunities really present themselves when you look at a money line that you like on a favorite, but you also like a line that's big enough where you think that dog can cover. Much like Milwaukee last week when they were the favorite against Chicago, I like the Bucks tomorrow in Game 1 as a dog. Give me Milwaukee with the 4.5 points, but give me Boston to win as the 200 money line favorite. So that's my first play of the first NBA action we'll see of the next round, those Eastern Conference semis, come tomorrow in the Boston Garden at 10 a.m. I think the Bucks are going to do just enough, and I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to do just enough to stay within that 4.5. Again, that's a tricky number, especially when it comes to the NBA playoffs, but I think it is just close enough. Give me the Bucks, but give me the Celtics, who I do think are the better team, and I do think will ride that momentum, and the fact they got some rest, given the fact that their series against Brooklyn ended way sooner than it probably should have, not even probably, than it definitely should have. Boston, will be rested, and I think they'll ride that momentum over Al Horford, Marcus Smart, veteran leadership, defensive intensity, all these staples that the Celtics have really flashed before our eyes here in recent months. I think we're going to see in this series, but Boston will not be going down like the Nets did. Moving on to the Western Conference semis, not as much on this game in terms of my just overall opinion. I mentioned at the top of the show, a lot of takes on these next couple of games that we'll see here throughout Sunday and Monday. But of all the games we will see, this one particularly isn't as strong. Austin Burkhart is tweeting us with his picks for the NBA. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Again, we are one round in, but a lot of basketball is yet to be played. So let us know who you like in the upcoming series, whether it be in the East or the West. Let us know who you like to get to the finals. Let us know who you're eyeing in the Stanley Cup race, as we're going to start covering that more and more right here on Full Tilt as the playoffs are set to begin. Lots to talk about in the future landscape and on the day-to-day landscape in both hockey and basketball, as we are now in that playoff atmosphere. So again, call in, let us know on all our social media platforms. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. You already have one of mine, again, on that hedging situation with Boston and Milwaukee. But again, not as strong of opinion on the game taking place later tomorrow, that later game between the Warriors and the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies sent Minnesota packing last night, an incredible comeback performance. Ja Morant and company. This team has 3 guards who, when they get going, can absolutely explode. When you have that type of backcourt, we've seen what Milwaukee can do with that type of backcourt, as I just mentioned. Memphis kind of has that same type of explosive tempo, high pace, ability to really go on a run and get back in it quick. And we saw that last night in a game that really looked like it was over heading into the midway point of that third period. Next thing you know, Memphis is advancing, Minnesota is going home, and Ja Morant and those guards are a huge reason why. The total in this one is high for me, 220.5. I said there's going to be a lot of high totals. That's usually how it works. These offenses in the playoffs really take shape. Star power usually is a huge factor, but role players are a huge factor as well. So when you have that offensive production from your starters and from your bench, it usually leads to some pretty high volume games. And therefore, even though the modern day NBA is going to be high scoring anyway, and all of the totals you'll see throughout the regular season are going to be pretty steep in terms of how high they get, they're not going to get quite this high. 220.5. Looking at this game, as much as I like both of these offenses and as much as I like what Memphis's backcourt can do, Ja Morant's playmaking ability and everyone else's ability to score in a tight window, I really like what they do, and I think they could counter a lot what Golden State brings to the table. And even though I think this could be actually maybe the best series, pound for pound, of the next couple of days in the NBA that we see unfold, I don't like the total here, so I am going under. I think this is a good one, a fun one, an exciting one, but I think it goes just underneath the total of 220.5. I think we'll have a little bit more defense down the stretch. Draymond Green, that veteran leadership for Golden State. I think Memphis will be a little bit more contained there late in the game than what we saw recently just the other night against the Timberwolves. But I believe they'll be formidable to the end. Warriors are laying 2. I don't like the spread. I think the Warriors will win, but not enough to where I'm going to make a money line play. This play here for me in this matchup, the Western Conference Semis Game 1 tomorrow, give me the under as the play. Under 220.5 for that one, and looking again off that hedging opportunity in the early game. So those are the ones I really have put my thumb on throughout this weekend when looking at the NBA, the immediate NBA landscape. From here on out, we know who's gone. We know who's moving forward. There's going to be a lot of offseason talks about what happens with the Nets and Kevin Durant and so on and so forth. Last night, Joel Embiid fractures his orbital bone, has concussion symptoms. A player who is leading the MVP race and has been so crucial to his team's success, but over the years has had so many issues with injuries. This is an injury he has actually suffered before, but on the different eye. This was on the different side of the face. You remember a few years back in 2018, much of the year he had to wear a face shield, a face mask to protect that. We may see that again in a couple of weeks, but that's the key word there. A couple of weeks. It may even be longer than that. Orbital bone injuries, regardless of how they happen, regardless of which sport, are nothing to joke around with. And you always are more likely to see a return later rather than sooner. And even if they do try to force him out there with a face mask like we saw a few years ago with the other side of his face, you still can't just assume Joel Embiid will come back seamlessly. This is going to come down to Maxey and Harden, specifically Harden, who clearly is, not to take jabs, a shell of himself. Anyone with eyes will tell you that. I know there's a lot of people, he's a polarizing player. A lot of people love James Harden. A lot of people aren't big fans of him. But if he could get back to what we saw, the version of James Harden just a few years ago, this Philadelphia 76ers team may just be able to do enough to kind of batten down the hatches and weather the storm until Embiid gets healthier, much like I think Milwaukee will be able to do, keeping afloat against Boston in that series while they wait for Chris Middleton to get healthier. So at this point, obviously injuries are going to be a key factor. At this point of the year, even before the playoffs started, during the end of the regular season, health is the biggest factor. We saw it last year. No disrespect to Phoenix Suns fans. It was a great story. Richard, you know I like the Suns to make a run to get back to the finals this year and win the West. A big reason, though, Phoenix was there is because they were the healthiest team. And now you look at Phoenix with the injuries to Devin Booker, may not be as smooth. Now, granted, he was back. It looks like he's going to be back in the lineup. Everything's going to be fine. But still, those concerns weren't as prevalent for Phoenix last year. That's going to be the question. Right now, injury concerns as of last night, prevalent for Philadelphia. As of a week ago, they are now prevalent for Milwaukee. Boston, not so much. Miami, not so much. Golden State and Memphis, not so much. So now you have to wonder who is really going to be the one just to stay assembled, stay in one piece, who can really just maintain that wear and tear the most, because these bodies are already beaten up. We talked about it in the fall, in the late fall, early winter, when I first started contributing to the show regularly, how you're going to see a difference in the NBA playoffs just based off the components of health. We're now going to see that in the NBA as well, and that's why this 76ers team is going to be so hard to bet, especially right off the bat. Looking at that Monday matchup, Eastern Semi-Conference Final Game 1 against Miami, down in South Beach, the Heat are laying 8.5. 8.5. If Philadelphia had Embiid, you can make the case Philadelphia would probably be the road favorite, or at least a very, very small dog heading to Miami. Instead, 8.5 points. And since I just don't know what version of Philadelphia we are going to be getting and what version of James Harden we are going to be getting, I'm not touching this game. This is the one game of the next couple of days on the NBA slate in these semifinal conference matchups that I am not going to touch. I'm avoiding it until I see more of the 76ers. I'm going to avoid that line. 8.5 is just too much, and the over/under at 208.5 doesn't do it for me either. So, really quick before we wrap things up and Richard gets back on to me, I'll give you one more. Suns laying 6 against the Mavericks. The Mavericks had to really fight, scratch, and crawl to get where they are. They're a scrappy team, and obviously when Luka Doncic is out there healthy, completely different animal. Just like when the Phoenix Suns have Devin Booker at their disposal, who is in the same draft class, they are a different animal. So, I'm not touching that one either in terms of the line. Give me the Suns on the money line, and I also think that one goes under the 214. So, not as strong of an opinion on what we have to come Monday due to the injury factor and the fact that I just want to see a little bit more from both Dallas and Phoenix. But in terms of tomorrow, give me the Bucks and the Celtics in a hedge play. 4.5 money ATS Bucks, 200 on the money line on the minus points for Boston. I like both of those plays to counteract with the under of 220 and the Warriors Memphis matchup taking place right after. So there are my NBA picks. Took a little bit of a bump on the chin last week. Maybe I'll have better luck being in studio. The past couple of times I have been on the studio, whether it be making football plays, Masters plays, UFC picks, had a little bit better luck. So maybe now that I'm here, I'll give you a better crop of picks for the NBA postseason than I did last week. So hang it there. We'll wrap things up here on Full Tilt. Richard will join me back on set, and we'll put a bow on it here on this Saturday night in Las Vegas. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Richard Delatorre. I'm the author of It's in the Book, Winning Ways. It's on Blackjack, Craps, and Roulette. And you can get it on Amazon, Google Play. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. And it teaches you the ratios and percentages of the casino, because the casino is really in charge. I put the percentages and ratios in your favor. You spend a little bit more money, but you have a better chance of winning. Doesn't mean you're going to win. No book should ever say you guarantee you're going to win. But what I did do is I cut down the ratios and percentages so you fully understand them on these 3 games. So you can go ahead and get that book. I was one of the top selling books on Amazon. 2018, I was number 7. I was with Doyle Brunson, Negreanu, The Magician, John Patrick. So I was pretty good for my first book. So you can go ahead and get that book and pretty much read it till you pretty much got it memorized. And you should be walking to casinos pretty much as an expert on these 3 games. The platform here is Go Live Vegas Studios, and my show is called Full Tilt Vegas, 6 p.m. Saturday night. I do have guests. Brett Lawson is a sports analyst. He comes on after me. Sometimes we double up. He does it on all the sports, and you can go ahead and see that. And I'll see you next Saturday or every Saturday at 6 p.m. on Full Tilt Vegas. Thank you very much. Back here on Full Tilt Vegas. Brett, take the helm.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to touch on this really quick. Again, as I mentioned just when I started my segment there a few moments ago, and what went by really fast, but that's what happens when we're talking NBA playoffs. The future boards are already affected in what we see in the NFL draft. Now, they're not going to be affected the same way that we saw in the free agency period because we know how quarterbacks move the needle. That's why we see teams like Denver bringing in Russell Wilson. There's such a big shift in their future odds. Looking at them now, they're 16-1. With Drew Lock, they were going to be nowhere near that mark. Meanwhile, the Raiders, who aside from Russell Wilson probably make the biggest move of the year during the free agency period, they bring in the elite receiver, the best receiver in football, Devontae Adams out of Green Bay, and yet that still barely affects their odds. They are still at plus 4,000. So there you go. So that kind of says it all right there. You look at the Raiders top to bottom compared to Denver, better team. They were in the playoffs that last year, a better all-around roster, but that quarterback factor, it goes to show what the books and who they value and how they value them. Russell Wilson makes the Broncos a 16-1 contender in terms of their odds to win the Super Bowl. You look at Tampa Bay, Richard, in the wake of Tom Brady's quote-unquote retirement. They dropped down the board. Once it was confirmed he was returning, he's right back at top at plus 750. So those type of moves, when you see where the veterans shuffle in and out, and where the quarterbacks go, where they come, where they go, that's going to affect the overall future board more. But we're still going to see some tweaking on the board based off of what we saw in the draft. And that's why yesterday morning, before the second round of the draft was even underway, the books were already updated with some tweaked prices based off of what we saw on night 1 in the first round on Thursday. Again, nothing that'll necessarily change the landscape. You still have Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, and Green Bay leading the way. But some of these other teams, slightly tweaked odds. You see Baltimore, they trade away Hollywood Brown. They slipped down a bit, plus 2,000. Indy and Arizona were very active yesterday in terms of both the draft and draft day trades. Their odds are a little higher at 25-1. Tennessee doing the same thing now at 30-1. Yet Philadelphia, despite arguably having the best draft of the night, Richard, since there's still doubts on the quarterback position with Jalen Hurts, they have barely shifted, still at plus 4,000, despite having maybe the best draft you could possibly ask for. So I just really wanted to touch base before we head out here, the difference in how futures are impacted by free agency compared to the draft. But either way, keep looking at the board, because in between the injuries, the rookies, and the new additions, these prices, Richard, will keep fluctuating up until August and early September.
Okay, there you have it. You got Brett's analysis. Next Saturday, we'll be doing the same thing. If my friend don't come in, Sharice, if she does come in, I'll still have Brett. He wants to show up. It's about, say it's about Hollywood and stuff, but we'll still be talking about the picks.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to see you next Saturday on Full Tilt Vegas. Brett.
Yes, sir.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Later, Gator.